sure you, yeah, I'm sure, hello, I'm sure you saw a lot of what Tom Homan and Greg Abbott had to say, but as it relates to Tom Homan, you've told me before, Congressman, that you feel like you could work with him. Do you object to anything that he said today?
Well, there's a lot of things we can work on. I want to see some of the details, but certainly, look, we can we can deport people quickly under Title 8. We can do stay in Mexico. We can do so many things on policies that can work right away. In fact, today I was communicating with Tom, and we talked about getting together sometime when I head back to D.C. in the next week or so. So
did he reach out to you?
And I think we can find a lot of common ground.
Did he reach out to you?
I reached out to him, told him that I wanted to sit down with him. And he said, absolutely, we're going to sit down. And he said, next time I'm in D.C., which is next week, I'll see if I can sit down, because there's a lot of things. I've been doing this for many years. Sometimes the current administration has not listened to me. Tom has
hold that thought, because that's where I was going, Congressman. I'm sorry to jump in, but every single time, or close to every single time, I've spoken with you over the last, I don't know, 20 months or so, I've asked you, have you spoken to the Biden administration, because you're a Democrat on the border in Texas, and pretty much every single time you had told me no, which I found fascinating. But shove that to the side for a second. And now you're telling me that Trump's border czar is picking up the phone for you. What does that tell you about possible changes?
That tells me that Tom knows what needs to work, and I can give him my experience. It's interesting. Tom and I are talking to each other. We might not agree on everything, but certainly we can agree to deport quickly the criminals, the national security folks, the 1.3 million final deportation people that have a final deportation order and are still here. Some of the recent crossers are some of the folks we need to look at. So there's a lot of things that I think we can do. And certainly Mexico has done a lot, but they can do much, much, much more, stopping fentanyl and stopping people from coming in.
Congressman, since the election, I've interviewed a lot of Democrats, folks like yourself, who are in tough competitive districts, and you say basically what you just said on immigration. And then Democrats who, when I interview them, it's like the election never existed, and they say the same thing as it relates to immigration. And I see you smiling when I say that, and you're smiling because you know it's true, and you hear it from your colleagues. And so, and now you're laughing, right? Because you know it's true. And so I just wonder if more of your Democratic colleagues are going to talk to Tom Homan and listen to you. And when you say, yeah, I'm talking to Tom Homan, you should too. Oh, that is unfortunate. Congressman Cuellar freezing for us, freezing up there. Sorry, you're back, Congressman. I don't know if you heard the question, but if you did, basically, if any of your Democratic colleagues, do you think will talk to Tom Homan as well, and should they?
Yeah, I think some of the Democrats should talk to him. I mean, I intend to sit down with him as soon as I get back to D.C., and we should. There's a lot of things we have in common. We might disagree on some things, but I think a lot of things, a lot of policies that I know will work, we ought to be working on together. For example, I told some of the Democrats, you can agree on deporting criminals, right? Some of them hesitated. And I told them that would be a mistake if Democrats cannot even agree to deport criminals.
Let me leave you with this, because Donald Trump is talking about 25% tariffs at the border with Mexico and Canada. You're a border town there. I'm looking at trade between Texas and Mexico. Obviously, Mexico is the #1 trade partner with Texas. That's obvious. Exports, Texas to Mexico, $1.3 billion last year. Imports, $142 billion. Those are big, big, big numbers, Congressman. And if a 25% tariff gets put on that, that could have some real economic consequences. But you want the crisis at the border fixed. So let me leave you with this question. If it means a 25% tariff to potentially fix the border, would you favor that?
Well, let me put it this way. Laredo is the largest port. We handle 40% of all the trade between the U.S. and Mexico. I know this is a way to negotiate, get some leverage. I know that Mexico will come to the table, but nobody wants a 25% tariff on them, and the Mexicans are threatening to do the same thing, and we don't want to get into that. But I think this will definitely get Mexico to the table so we can solve the problem about immigration and fentanyl.
All right, I'll leave it there. Congressman Henry Cuellar, again from the Laredo area border town. Thanks for being with us, Congressman, here on the Hill. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.